Okay, so now you're ready to start modeling. So what program are you going to use? There's a couple programs that are recommended for 3D modeling. There are the paid versions and there are non-paid, they're open source. So the main one that is thought of as being the best that seems to be thought of as best in the industry for game development and other such things of that nature is Autodesk Maya. Now this is a paid program. You're going to have to pay to use it. There's a free trial. As far as license agreement, what you can do with the free trial or what you can do with the 3 years for free as a student, I do not know. You'll have to read that, but I highly recommend that you do read that before you start using it for Player Studio, as Player Studio is something you will make money off of, and they may have something in their license agreement saying that you have to pay for Maya before you can make money off. I do not know. However, Maya is thought of as being better. It's thought of as being one of the best, if I'm not mistaken. So there is this option. This is, however, most of us use a program called Blender or Blender 3D. Remember, also links in the description to all of these. This is what I use. This is what a lot of us use. It is free, it is open sourced, and it is definitely getting better. However, it does have its problems, which we will get into in a little bit later, I believe, in this video. It's not very major problems, but it's not as but this Blender is not as clean, shall we say, as Maya is. The devs do use Maya, and there are some export-import issues when working between when importing an FBX file into Blender from Maya. Like I said, we'll get into that, but it is free. There's also another program you can use called Wings 3D. I have not used this. I do not know how good it is. I don't find many tutorials on YouTube for this, and so I don't know very much what it's like. It looks to me, from what I have seen, kind of like a stripped down version of Blender, but it does seem to have better, what I have learned is it does seem to do better with faces, how they work and such. So it's worth checking out, possibly. I don't know, but like I said, most of us use Blender, and Blender is what I'm going to be using for the rest of these tutorials. So, now that we have that, let's get on to the modeling part. Okay, so this is your first time opening up Blender, and this is what you see, and you don't know what you're doing. Okay, so in this case, I'm not going to show you all of the modeling process, as you can find a lot of tutorials on YouTube for how to model in Blender, but I will show you some general starting out stuff for starting out. Okay, so first thing you're going to want to do, we're going to work on a helmet. Right, so this is how I start at Blender. Right clicking on an object, it will select it. You can then press Shift or hold Shift and press right click again on another item. So we're going to delete these two items. So after you've selected both of them, by doing that, you press X and you will be able to delete both those items. Okay, so now next thing you want to do is press number 5 on your number pad and number 1. Now this will take you to the front view. The reason we press 5 is so that we will get on the I can't remember what view it's called, but basically it's not going to be distorted when you look at it. It's not going to be, the model is not going to be affected by how close you are to it or not. It is going to look square if it is square. Okay, so now that you've done that, you can come over here to the bottom left. This is your timeline for doing animations. Since this is PlanetSide 2, you can't submit animations unless you get special permission from the devs. That you'll have to talk to them about. But we don't need this. So if you go down here to the bottom right, or bottom left, excuse me, you will see this little bit right there. Press and hold on it and drag down until you see the arrow, let up, and that removes it. That way you have more space around here. Now, I should have mentioned how you move around like this is you press and hold your middle mouse button. To move the camera around the model, such as this, you press Shift and middle mouse button and move your mouse around to drag it. Okay, if you want to get to the front view, press 1 on your number pad. If you want to get to the right view, you press 3 on your number pad. And if you want to get to the top view, you press 7 on your number pad. Now, if you want the opposite of those, say the back side, you press and hold Control and then press 1 on your number pad, and so on and so forth. Now, for this we're going to do a helmet. So the cube is fine, but for now let's not look at this. We don't want to see that. So you can press the little eye right there on the cube, and we want to get one of the heads in here because we need to model around the head. So what you need to do is go up to File and import FBX. Now FBX, I don't actually know if that's available in the starting version of Blender. You might actually have to enable this. So if you have to do that, let me know, and I will put in the description of this video how to do that, or make another video, depending. Currently, I'm just going to show you this. So go to FBX, import FBX. Once you do that, you will need to go to the Player Studio install. So for me, it's in my C file, user. I believe this is his default location, public, Daybreak, installed games, PlanetSide 2 test, Player Studio, samples, and come down here. I like to use the, where's it at? The male Caucasian head. The reason for this is all the heads are different, and all the male heads seem to work best if you model around the male Caucasian head. So you select that. You can either double click on it or press import. Now, usually with Blender, this is what this will look like. Now, these are bones. These are for doing your rigging. Or these are rigging, these are for doing animation. But this is not the way the helmet or the head is supposed to look. So you come over here to right here on this little thing where it shows their body, and then you press reset position. Now, the bones are not exactly lined up, and I don't remember how to line those up all that well, but it gets the head lined up. Now, you don't need to see the bones for what we're doing. This is all you need to see. Now you have the head in the proper position, and you can model around it. Now some of the other heads are wider here, or the ears might be slightly higher, but like I said, the male Caucasian head seems to work the best, as the ears stick out just about right, the nose sticks out just about right, and the head is, you know, if you're going to be modeling a full helmet, this works best for me. Okay. So now we can zoom out again and come back over here and enable cube. Now there's a couple different ways things you can do. You can either use a cube or you can use a sphere. For this one, we're going to use a cube. Now, it doesn't look much like a helmet, as you can see, but if you come over here to, no, not there. Oh, you gotta select the cube. Sorry about that. Okay, now if you come over here to this wrench, you're going to see add modifiers. Now, what you want to do is add a subsurf modifier. Now, this will subdivide the surface. As you can see, before it's applied, it is still a cube. But what I usually do is I turn this up to about there, to 3 subdivisions. And you get this. Okay, so now you can go ahead and apply it and select it. Make sure it's selected. Sorry about that. Okay, now this is what it's going to be. This is not edit mode. What you need to do is press Tab so that all of it is selected. Press Z so that you can see through it. Move, then left click and drag the center of this to the head. Now if you press S, you can scale this down, zoom in a little bit by using your mouse wheel, scrolling, and probably something about like this, move it around a little bit, Scale it there a little bit more, and now you'd want it just above the head, and there's a chin. You'll be modeling this later, and like I said, this is just a intro tutorial for PlanSide 2 for the heads here. Okay, so now if you go to this view, to the right view, you can move it around as need be. Maybe make it a little bigger. Not going to worry about the chin right now. Go back here. Now if you press S and you press X, this will scale it along the X-axis so that you can narrow it up a little bit. Now, one of the things you want to remember with PlanSide 2 is when you're modeling, you want to try and keep your helmet close to the head. As close to the head as possible, I believe, is what the counsel is, or what the recommendation is. The reason for this is because the head is where the hitbox is at. The helmet does not have a hitbox, so if you move too far, like if you have a bit of geo up here, your geo or mesh is what this is what your helmet is considered. If you have that up here, the dev team probably will not accept your model because it is too high or too far away from the hitbox and could throw people off that are trying to hit the hitbox, if that makes sense. So we want to make sure and keep it pretty close to the head. Okay, so now you still have this chin. So what I like to do is go down here where it says object mode and change that to sculpt mode. Now with this, you're going to want to select the grab tool. Press F so that press F and move your mouse out so that your brush is as big as possible. Then take and left click and drag this so that it is away from the chin. Now you can make your brush smaller by pressing the F and moving your mouse in, and you can adjust anything that you want to on here. Once you're done, all you have to do is press edit mode, and you are back in edit mode. Now, I am going to jump ahead to a helmet I have already made at this point because I'm not going to show you. Like I said, you can find tutorials on YouTube, or if you really want me to make a tutorial, I can make one, I guess. But I'm going to jump ahead to the part of texturing.